All right, happy Friday. Can you feel that Friday vibe? Ooh, yeah, getting ready to get into the weekend. All right, thanks for watching our First Alert weather live stream. This is First Alert Chief Meteorologist Steve Baylon. Let's see what's going on outside. Have you seen all the fog? In some areas, it's like pea soup. Look at that live view from Manitowoc. Promise you that that's downtown. I can see past a building or two, but across the river, that's a no-go. So thick fog. We are above the freezing mark, though. It is 36 degrees, and the air is calm. Up through 9 o'clock, the National Weather Service continues a dense fog advisory. That's basically near and south of Highway 64. And here are the visibilities across northeast Wisconsin. The fog is not as bad in the Fox Valley, with visibility hovering around a mile, 2.5 miles in Oconto and Fond du Lac, 3 miles in Green Bay. But the visibility is at and under 1/4 mile along the Lake Michigan shoreline. It's also pretty dense across the North Woods and across central Wisconsin. Bottom line, if you're traveling this morning, visibility may change sharply, and you need to be on your toes. And if you encounter fog, you probably should slow down, use the low beam headlights, give yourself more following distance. Our severe weather outlook on this First Alert weather day is in the moderate category this morning. I do expect the fog to start thinning out slowly during the mid to late morning hours. So, fog and showers. Yes, we've got some rain that's pushing into the area. We'll have some rain at times through the early afternoon, probably drying out for the evening commute later today. Cloudy and damp. Temperatures will be rising slowly through the 40s. And even though the sun sets later today, guess what? The temperature is just going to keep going up into the 50s as we head towards this evening. All right, so our next weather maker, as we've been first alerting you for several days now, we've got periods of rain, and for many of you, our first thunderstorms of the season through tonight. So let's start off with First Alert Viper Max. You can see the leading edge of this first wave of rain. It's made its way through Wautoma into Oshkosh. Looks like in around Kiel and New Holstein, it's just starting to rain. It's imminent in the Sheboygan area, and it's spreading north and east. So you folks around Appleton and Brillion and over towards Manitowoc, you're probably going to start seeing that rain as we get closer to 9 o'clock. As we broaden our view, you can see this is actually what is an area of thunderstorms that has been making its way down towards Racine and heading towards Chicago. There's more thunderstorms back across northern Iowa towards Ames. So this first round of precipitation is going to come through, and it'll slide away, but I'm more interested in the next round of thunderstorms that are going to be coming in, especially after sunset. Now, we will probably have some severe weather today across the Central Plains. Those storms will be heading in our direction. They probably won't pack as much of a punch by the time they get here close to midnight. But that said, tonight we have a level 1 risk of severe weather on our 1 to 5 severe weather scale. Like 5 is the worst case scenario, but this is a 1. In other words, it's a marginal risk of some strong to severe thunderstorms tonight. We can't rule out tonight an isolated strong to severe thunderstorm that could have some hail up to 1 inch in diameter, some heavy downpours, and also some gusty winds. Really doesn't seem like a tornado threat to me. This seems like a hail and heavy rain thing. All right, so here's First Alert Pinpoint Predictor. Look at that. That's 9 o'clock. And this run of First Alert Pinpoint Predictor was generated, oh boy, gosh, over 6 hours ago. And that's almost a spot-on match to what you saw in Viper Max. So the computer model seems to have a really good handle on the situation. So we'll have some periods of rain through the early afternoon if you're heading out to run some errands, or if you're going out to meet someone for a bite to eat for lunch, you probably should carry the umbrella. You will need it. The showers will be diminishing later in the afternoon. Now here's 5 p.m. A lot of folks are probably happy. They're grooving out to their favorite tunes in their cars. They're heading home for the weekend. The roads will be damp. I don't expect as much rain at that time. It might be quote-unquote dry, except for the damp roads. And we'll find a lull in the precipitation into the early evening, although it's going to be a bit clammy and cloudy and perhaps a bit foggy. And then around and after Action 2 News at 10 with meteorologist David Ernst, well, here come those thunderstorms that I'm tracking. And here's midnight, and you can see the pockets of heavy rain where you see the orange and red colors on the map, especially Shawano, Green Bay, southward into the Fox cities, and that's where you're going to have those embedded heavy, perhaps strong thunderstorms. So around and just after midnight, these thunderstorms march their way through. They don't last very long, but if you decide to go to bed early tonight, they might wake you up with a little bit of a ruckus. Heading into the overnight hours, the storms move out, and looks like we're drying out heading into Saturday morning. Saturday will be a rather cloudy day, but I expect some clearing as we get towards the evening. Now, here's Pinpoint Predictor's potential rainfall between now and this time tomorrow, and some areas to the south of Green Bay could see an inch of rainfall. And with the frozen ground that we have, that rain is not going to absorb quite as nicely as it would compared to during the growing season. So we could have some standing water, especially in low-lying spots overnight heading into tomorrow morning. So that's something that bears some watching if you have any travel plans. And if you live in a low-lying area, I would just double check to make sure your sump pump is working properly, just in case. These are temperatures, 30s, and we're at 40 degrees right now in Oshkosh and in Fond du Lac. Meanwhile, north and east, 36 in Oconto and Marinette, with 34 in Iron Mountain and Escanaba, Michigan. So there's your First Alert Super 7-day forecast. Again, that high of 54, that's not going to be until this evening. We'll be rising slowly through the 40s during the day. We'll see a high of 54 late this evening. Clouds and fog, some occasional showers and thunderstorms, especially later tonight. And then the weekend looks drier. We'll see a lot of clouds tomorrow. We'll have a breezy west wind, which will cause our temperatures to slowly head down, 55, but falling into the 40s. And then with a southwest wind, we're warming back up on Sunday. Sunday, 60 degrees late in the day with some sunshine. And the nice thing about Sunday, besides the warmth, is that, well, with the clock springing forward an hour for daylight saving time, our sun isn't going to set Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening until sometime around 6:50. So it'll be nice to have that daylight and to have that warmth late into your weekend. And then Monday, we're looking at record warmth across northeast Wisconsin. Monday's record high in Green Bay is 60 degrees. That was set last year in 2025, and that might be broken. So on the same day, back-to-back years, we may see record high temperatures set, which is kind of an unusual situation. I can't say that happens very often. But one other thing to point out, Sunday, Monday, early next week, here's something I want you to watch for, especially in low-lying areas. So we're going to get some rain, we're going to get some warming, and we're going to have breezy winds. And that might set the stage for some ice jam flooding, especially near creeks and streams and rivers. And what happens is the thawing ice breaks free and starts flowing downstream. And usually in narrow areas of these bodies of water, chunks of ice get stuck and they create like a dam. And that blocks the river flow leading into that dam. So the river backs up and water starts spilling over the banks. And next thing you know, in these low-lying areas, you've got some rising water. So if you live in these areas or if you travel through these areas, be keen to the fact that that might be an issue here and there, but certainly not everywhere as we go into early next week. The warm weather will not last. The First Alert Super 7-day forecast shows more seasonable early March weather arriving Tuesday and beyond, with our highs dropping back into the lower 40s. And there's going to be some unsettled weather. The timing of it and the type of precipitation and the intensity of the precipitation still kind of in flux. But I do expect some showers on Tuesday. There might be some mixed precipitation across northern Wisconsin. I can't rule out a few flakes on Wednesday, and I think there's another disturbance coming in Thursday night and perhaps into Friday that might give us some showers or a mix. Again, all that is very subject to change. It is not carved in stone. So I hope that you are using our free WBAY First Alert Weather app. You know what? Spring is a variable time of year, and it's not far away, right? Once we get to March 20th, it'll officially be spring as the vernal equinox arrives. But as we get through this last couple weeks of winter and go into spring, we tend to see these sharp changes in temperature. We tend to see different types of precipitation, and you and your family need to keep on top of those changes. So we've got you covered anytime you want it, wherever you are. Just tap our app. It's WBAY First Alert Weather. Coming up on Action 2 News at noon and at 4, I just saw her walk in. Meteorologist Emily Merz. She's got her nose in her phone. She's probably going through more important things than listening to my forecast, but I know she's going to go through the latest weather data, and she will update you with fresh information coming up in our midday and early afternoon newscast. So do us both a favor and tune in and watch. And she's also got you covered through the weekend mornings. And there you have it. So, did you get everything you needed with that weather forecast? I hope so. So yeah, it's Friday. We're excited about that. But just be advised that we've got some fog. We've got some rain in the forecast. And again, we've got some thunderstorms that are coming in tonight. Some could be heavy, perhaps strong. And that definitely bears some watching, especially as we get towards midnight. And yes, we've got some rain right now. We'll end things off with a live shot from our Oshkosh Skycam. And look at those raindrops stuck to the camera lens. And yeah, you can see the rain coming downtown. Looks pretty wet. We'll dry out a little bit late in the day, but then more soggy, stormy weather is coming in tonight. So keep on top of what's going on and follow WBAY on air and online. Happy Friday. Make it an even better weekend. We'll catch you on this weather live stream starting every weekday at 8:35 next week. Take care.